So when it comes to mitosis, we've already covered this. This came out in one of your in-class tests. We know that the first stage of mitosis is the centrioles start to go to the center, the extreme ends of the cell, and the spindle fibers start to form. Also, the chromosome becomes visible, right? So that's the first stage. This is what's happening first. And the next thing is that those chromosomes start to align at the equator, at the center of the cell. So that's what's happening here. They are already aligned at this point. You have the spindle fibers are all attached to the centromeres of uh, of the of the chromosome, which is forming two sister chromatids, and that's what's happening here. So these lines here that you see represent the spindle fiber, and those things at both ends here represent the centrioles, right? So this stage is the next stage after the prophase. So this is the metaphase. After the metaphase, we have the anaphase. In the anaphase, what's happening is basically that the two sister chromatids get separated, right? So it's like Spider-Man in both ends pulling um, um, to get their own sister chromatid. So this happens, and you have both chromatids are going to be separated. Both sister chromatids are going to be separated to both ends of the cell. And the last phase, called the telophase, in telophase, basically, you have all of this, the chromatids have gone into the new daughter cell, but the cell is not completely split yet, right? It's still going to be called a daughter cell later on. However, we now have a nuclear membrane formed and another nuclear membrane formed around those DNA-like materials of the chromosomes. And then, of course, cytokinesis happens at the end to form the two daughter cells. So that's it for mitosis on that question. And then the phases of cell cycle. Remember, the cell cycle is including the interphase and the mitosis. But when we look at the interphase is not part of the mitosis. It's just a different phase within the cell cycle. And the interphase is where the cell spends most of its life. And we also know that during the interphase, the DNA is replicating, cells are growing, and all kind of stuff is happening except division. Division is not happening during interphase. Now, the question here is which cell is not in a phase of mitosis? Now, in the mitosis phase, because the cell is not planning to divide yet, so division is not about to happen, it means that the DNA is replicating and all the stuffs are happening. So the chromosome is actually not visible. It's less visible because the DNA is more relaxed, right? DNA is not as coiled up as it would be when the cell is about to divide. So the answer is going to be D, because if you look at all of these other cells, the chromosome has become very visible. So in D, the chromosome is not visible, and therefore we are still in the interphase. 2b, a chemical substance that inhibits the formation of the centrioles will interrupt which stage of the cell cycle. So this is a centriole, this thing here that holds on to the spidey web or the spindle fiber. Please don't use spidey web on the test. I just say that to help you understand the concept, but this is called the spindle fiber and this is called the centriole. Anyway, so if something inhibits the formation of the centriole, it means that it affects mitosis and also it affects cell division. So I had made a mistake in my own class review. I had only talked about mitosis, and the answer is mitosis. But actually, in such a question, we have two answers. If you put any one of them, if this question comes out, I don't know, if any one of them, this would be correct, right? So anything that affects the centriole would affect the cell division and also affect mitosis because mitosis is a type of cell division. All right, so that's it for a question like this. That's just an application question. I hope you found this useful. Please ask your teacher if you have any questions. Thank you.